Hi, welcome to Mystic Frequency. I'm Lisa, and I'll be your collective tarot reader here today on February 25th, 2026. But don't worry if you find this reading much further down the road. There's a message here that your guides are trying to reveal today, or more specifically, a door that is currently opening up that you need to be aware of. And I felt really called to do this reading today, guys, because we are about to be approaching Mercury in retrograde from February 26th to March 20th, and it will be in Pisces. And I was watching a video and it talked about these doors that we may have open that we are not aware of. And if we don't close the door, then all sorts of different kinds of energies are going to be able to just walk through it. And, this can talk about unresolved issues or anything that may be in our past that tends to surface anytime things get a little bit rough for us. So I wanted to know, what is a door that is open for the collective that we should be aware of today? And if you are my returning listeners, you are more than welcome to go ahead and get into the reading with the timestamps. And if you are new to this channel, hi, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm very excited to have you here. I always like to, kick my intro off by saying first, if today is your birthday or if you have something to celebrate, happy birthday, happy celebrations. And if you don't have anything that you are celebrating currently, please find something, that could be an achievement, a milestone, or a bad habit that you've kicked. I like to use that one as a reference because you should always celebrate things that you no longer do that benefit you greatly in this life, that make you able to, become the best version of yourself possible. And then leading into my disclaimers for my newcomers is I can only share what the guides are revealing today, and if there's a personal experience that I feel may assist or help you along your journey. And you can take whatever information that is revealed today, but that does not mean it is the only source of information that is available to you. You know your situation a little bit better than I would. I would literally have to walk 2 moons in your shoes before I would be able to understand the complexities that may be going on, or if, maybe I haven't even, experienced what you have experienced yet in my life. But ultimately, this is just general guidance, or just to really give you a pep in your step, or to really check in and see if there are areas of your life that need a little bit more focus and attention to. Or to see, that wheel, which I use often in my intro, is, that wheel is always in your hand. So use your free will at all times and determine, is my gas tank full or is it running empty? Who is in my vehicle and who is driving my vehicle? Am I able to go where it is I want to go, or am I missing parts to my car, like my tires? And am I driving with intention, or is there a ditch that I'm about to, take a roller coaster ride in? But these readings are pure joy. They are my passion, and they're really, the goal of these readings is to help lift the collective up and, make each day a better day for someone, at least. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But if this reading starts to not resonate, please think carefully about who it could be for. Like if there's someone you were really close to, this could be a family member, a friend you may have not contacted in a while, or, whatever door that may be closed, or something that makes you think of someone that may be like this, you are more than welcome to share this reading, especially if you think it will help them. Sharing is caring, and I believe that. I'm a care bear. And the other thing that you could do with this reading is to add it to your library, your wellness library. The library, when you do need something to help you, if you do come across this feeling or this energy, then you already have it. You already know what to do to be successful. You've got the tool, you've got the book, and now all you have to do is do the work, put in the action. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with this reading because I've been thinking about this for a good minute since yesterday. But for my collectives, the door that is currently open for you is phobias. Now, at one point or another, everyone experiences some sort of major fear or thing that prevents them from, being able to head it straight on. So, what is a phobia? If you don't know what a phobia is because you've been very blessed without having one, it is an uncontrollable, irrational, and lasting fear of a certain object, a situation, or a specific activity. This person will go to great lengths to avoid this source of fear. This person could possibly have panic attacks anytime they are thinking about this, or if they find that they are going to be involved with said object, situation, or place, or person even. And, where does it come from? Because it doesn't just come out of nowhere. And what is the scariest thing about a phobia? Yes, it can be triggered from a very bad experience, especially in early childhood when we pick up on things or we experience things. Our caregiver may have not been in the room and a dog bit us. That is a common fear that we find that if it happens in a child's early childhood kind of scenario, that adult will kind of grow and be very weary, possibly, not always, of dogs. And, my niece is one of those kids. She used to love dogs, and then she was in the neighborhood and got attacked by someone's dog that had gotten out, and she ended up getting stitches and became so terrified of dogs. Like, even when we had our dog that loved children, loved babies, loved everything and anything that would pet it, she was terrified of it and wouldn't even come in the house. That's how irrational it is. One phobia that I have for myself is wasps, and I've actually talked about that in another video. But boiling it down is, let me make the story real quick. My mother was driving us home after picking us up from my grandparents, and we had a wasp fly in through the window, and it landed on my hand and stung me, and then went to fly on my other hand and stung my other hand. And the entire time, my mom had pulled the car over, got out of the car, and was beating me with a leather jacket, trying to get the wasp out of the car. And it eventually did fly away. I don't know how it didn't die. I ended up with so many bruises just from my mom's leather jacket that it's surprising it didn't get hit. And then from that instant, I had another experience at my childhood school. And I had a teacher that refused to help the kids that were on the sidewalk because they either didn't do their homework or they were late to school. So we were being disciplined, and I had a wasp fly on me, and it was this kid who was behind me that was throwing rocks. And if he hadn't, the wasp would have eventually, I don't know what it would have done. But I had this fear growing up, and it made me not be able to be out when it was sunny, when I could have, great memories made out in the yard, but I was so terrified of the potential of being stung. And I've had to overcome that fear because I have my own children, and I discovered that, the fear that I had was something I was about to pass down onto my kids. My son, I remember about 3 years old, all of a sudden developed a fear for mosquito hawks. And if you don't know what that is, it's a really huge mosquito or I don't know, is it a mosquito? Yeah, it's a mosquito that eats other mosquitoes. It doesn't drink blood, but it eats mosquitoes. And that's why they're called mosquito hawks. And he developed a fear from those because of me. So, guys, this door is opening up, and if you do have little ones, or if you have, maybe your own parents are the reasons why you have developed a fear of some sorts, a fear of this energy that is coming through. And it's even like, this makes me think of, seeing things and hearing about things can even trigger a phobia, things that you haven't even been in for yourself. So if you find that you are watching the media, or you find that, you just start to develop a fear of flying. Maybe you want to travel, but now you're scared of traveling because you've heard of all of these accidents that have happened. Or if you want to take a vehicle and go across country, and now you're terrified of doing that. It's like, this is a door that the collective needs to be, aware of. If you are leaving that door open to where any kind of illusion, any kind of fear, any kind of doubt, anything that is a potential disaster that lives in the future, because this door, even though this is a past life card, this is a door that is trying to let a a potential future from letting you live your life. And your guides are wanting you to really look at any kind of learned behaviors you may have picked up on and see if, and I love the image of this woman in here. You know, at first when I seen her, she did look kind of scared or unsettled by something, but she's got her hands in front of her heart center. And it's almost like she is praying, but she doesn't have her eyes closed to the situation. She is actually looking at it and praying for some kind of relief here. And your guides are wanting you to kind of like release any kind of fear that you may have that is unsettling, that is preventing you from moving forward. And because we are talking about anything that could have happened in the past, I went ahead and brought a childhood inner oracle to come through to kind of like help work with you. Let's see what we can do to assist or alleviate this. Some people actually have to go to therapy for this, and there are many things that you can do to kind of assist with this. Either A, confronting it head on, or slowly developing an immunity. And I like using that word, immunity, to whatever it is that is scaring you. So if you are scared to talk to people, give yourself an opportunity. I'm going to say hello for a second to some random stranger, and then go from there. Or maybe it's just like you would like to be more social. Maybe you're introverted and you're on the outside looking in at everybody, and you just want to, you want to participate, but something has your feet locked to the ground as if there's an anchor. Well, if you're locked to where you are, say hello, wave from somebody, actually ask for somebody to come over you. Think about questions that, if you're looking at someone, think about any kind of question that you would like to ask them. If you have an interest or a hobby, be like, are you interested in astrology? Are you interested in, tarot? Are you interested in things like that? And, open the door up, but always understand that, even in my shoes, like, I know I'm not for everybody, and I have to be okay with that. I have so much love for this human experience that I am living in, and I love people, and I want to help take care of people, and I just want to help dust their kneecaps off whenever they fall down, and help pick them up and push them back in the right direction. But I know that not everybody is accepting of that energy, because I can come on too strong as being a mother type, if you will. But think about what kind of connection that you would like to develop today. And this door, don't let this be a door that scares you. Let this be a door where you are actually inviting something in and determining whether or not it has a place in your life still, or if it's something you can close and lock the door and make sure it doesn't open up again the next time a retrograde comes in. So you can literally spend this time from this video on and embrace this fear, embrace whatever energy is coming through. Let me know in the comments, like, if you have a specific phobia and what you have been told to do in the past in order to kind of like work through it, or if you've kicked a phobia. Let me know. Let's celebrate that, together, if I can speak. But let me go ahead and get your inner child oracle out the door. So, inner child here, become aware. Become aware. Become aware of whatever this fear may be. Maybe this is something new you have picked up out of nowhere, and then you find that you're taking side streets, you're taking different routes, or maybe you're getting up earlier because you're scared you're going to miss something, or you are going to be late by all sorts of different traffic. But figure out what it is specifically and become very aware of it so you can acknowledge it and then decide, how do I best want to go about this now? Become aware. Create space today to connect with your body. Find a comfortable place and close your eyes, bringing your awareness to your physical form. How does it feel? What does it speak to you? Do hidden emotions reside within? After you have connected with your body, ask yourself about what your body needs in this moment. Yes. And ultimately, this makes me think of, taking care of your root chakra. making sure that you feel safe, that you feel secure, that you have an action plan should anything happen. And if you do have an action plan, then you are set up for success. You've got the book, in your library. Take it, use it, and prove others that you have the confidence in order to assert yourself and not be scared of what you need to tackle today. Your self-affirmation today is, I'm committed to my goals. If you have something that is preventing you from, accomplishing things in your life, or maybe this is a goal that you are trying to stay committed to, your guides are saying, yes, it's time, girl or boy, or whoever is here with this reading today, but it's time. Stay committed. And if, being committed to something is a phobia, find ways to make short commitments, things that can help you build long-term commitments so that way you don't feel frazzled when something comes. I just thought of Mrs. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, and I don't know why. And you know what's funny is it makes me think of the boy with the glasses who has red hair. He's the one that's like, oh, this doesn't sound like a good idea, guys. It's kind of like that. Or Chucky from the Rugrats. That makes me think of him as well. But, we've got to have a little bit of Tommy Pickle in us. I really hope that my listeners know who Tommy Pickle is. you know, or is it Tommy Dill? I don't remember, but Tommy Pickle, someone's got to be brave, and it is healthy to have a little bit of, anxiety. I will say that it is a little bit okay to have a little bit of that, because then you are not just becoming the fool who jumps off a cliff and is unaware of the risks that there are. So you need to have a good, healthy balance of both, but become aware today of what you are feeling inside and how you can address it. Maybe if you didn't have a goal today, that would be a goal. Your self-care oracle is look into moon energy for your highest desires. So let me talk about moon energy, because this card has been coming out quite frequently. So moon energy is anything that has to do with your emotions, your subconscious realm. It talks about darkness and the night. Maybe you have a fear of being alone when things are dark or things that are unknown. It's like having a veil in front of you can be very disturbing in some ways, because it's like, what is on the other side of this? I need to know what is on the other side. My heart is beating out of my chest, and I need to know for certain what's going on. This makes me think of somebody that'll have a book and they'll read the ending first just to make sure everything is okay. And I will be guilty of this movie that I watched for the first time with my husband last week, The Hills Have Eyes. I had to look up who survived, because there was a baby in I think it was 2006 when the movie came out, but there was a baby in it. And because I am a mom myself, and, I worry about children. I worry about my own children all the time. I worry about other people's children as well. It's unhealthy sometimes, but, I actually had to go online and look it up just to make sure that the baby was fine. I didn't care about some of the other characters, but I had to make sure that the baby was okay. But looking in, even when things are dark, that you were protected, you were guided. And if, there is no shame with having to sleep with a nightlight. My grandfather had a nightlight in his house our entire childhood. And I still, like, my daughter has a nightlight in her room, and there's no shame in wanting to have lights on in your house if this is something that is a phobia. Or if you are worried, what are you worried about to find in the dark? What is your biggest fear? And if you're worried about, something reaching out from underneath your bed or underneath the couch, maybe take the blocks, if you can, off the couch. Get you a platform bed so that way it sits on the ground, and then you don't have to worry about anything. Or if you're worried about, someone coming in through your windows, you could always install alarms on your windows. That way you'll know if something occurs. But there's a lot of things to do to kind of help you with your sense of safety here. And you should never feel ashamed for have to do any of those. And dreams, looking into moon energy, like, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to anything that is reoccurring. A dream that I have had of recently is I have been, I'm not someone that tends to get, my husband will probably say something different, but I'm not an angry person. I'm somebody that, I don't like confrontation. I will say that about myself. I don't like confrontation. And if there is a situation that I find like someone in my family could use or deal with if they would just confront it head on, but they don't do it, I find that I'm trying to resolve it in my own dreams. And I have been having these dreams of, punching walls down for whatever reason. And being frustrated when I can't knock a wall down. And I understand that that is something that, I have to work on and address. Like, I can't always fix everyone's problems. I can't always, be the person that stands out in the storm, because I did have a storm dream coming in, and I was just like trying to prepare everybody for this storm that was coming, and nobody was paying attention to it. They didn't really care for it. They didn't care that the half of their house just ended up disappearing. They were quite all right with that. And, that is something that I'm scared of, is people not being aware of the situation that they are about to put themselves in. And but pay attention to your dreams. What are they revealing? And trust your intuition. If you feel something is bad, why is it bad? And how can you, intuition versus, a false sense of fear here. There is a difference. You will know if your intuition is guiding you versus if it is a fear-based feeling, because you shouldn't be scared of whatever it is that you are thinking about. Fear should not even be in this mix. Your intuition is kind of like, imagine a rush of energy coming over you, but it doesn't have a specific, I almost said color. It doesn't have a specific, it's just, how do I describe this? It just doesn't, you just know. It's just your inner knowing here. And it does not come with fear. It doesn't come with an emotion. It's just this inner bone knowing that you have. And going into the other thing is introspection, where you are allowing yourself to go within. So becoming aware, going within and seeing what is it that your body is telling you, and what is it feeling. And this has to do with yin energy. So think of, your spirit. How can you take care of your spirit and its needs, and making sure that the scaffold that your body is giving your divine feminine energy is supported, and it is leaking out and, causing a mess of things. But look into moon energy for your highest desires. Actually look at lunar cycles that could benefit you, releasing, receiving, planting, and, working through dark nights of the soul, or, shadow work even. The divine feminine, divine masculine oracle today is, are you finding yourself people pleasing today? Take back some of your energy. And that can be another phobia, where you are so worried about how people will perceive you. So regardless of whether or not your needs are taken care of, you want to make sure that you hold a place in someone's life. And you may have had an experience where when you told someone no, they walked out the door, even though it was for your highest good. Or this could even be watching your own, anybody that you grew up with, watching them be like they had to control another individual in order to get what they want. And if someone couldn't give them what they wanted, then they said, goodbye, it's it's either my way or the highway. So there's a fear here that if I don't give and give and give, then I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose something. But people pleasing it's a behavioral pattern. And like I said, it's where you're prioritizing other people's needs and desires over your own. There's that need for approval and a fear of rejection or conflict. And one of the things that you can do to really help with this is to set clear boundaries. Help when you want to help, not when someone is asking you to help. If you do find that you're in a position where you would like to be of service to someone, then that is the best time to actually help. But don't don't let someone constantly take advantage of your energy, and think before you are committing to something. So I am committed to my goals. So if something is preventing you from being committed to your goals, or a person is standing in the way, then you need to push that person to the side and stay committed, especially if it's for your highest, if it's for your highest good. And start giving yourself a little bit of positive self-talk. Give yourself when you wake up in the morning, repeat to yourself, I'm committed to my goals. And then repeat to yourself, I'm going to give myself what I need. I am going to make sure I have healthy boundaries. I am going to, and then if you do find that you tend to say yes, even though when you want to say no, start making small steps where you will say, no, I'm sorry. And if someone calls you and you find that it's easier for you to say yes when someone calls you, text your family, your friends, whoever is messaging you, and say, hey guys, I kind of need people to just text me for the time being. I have things that I'm working on that I'm trying to stay committed to. And then whenever they text you, you can actually, you'll hopefully, I hope this is the case, you'll be able to say, no, I'm sorry, I cannot. And then if they keep pushing the issue, then you can turn your phone off. Turn your phone off and put it on silent. If this person shows up at your door, park your car in a different parking lot if you can, if you live in an apartment complex, or if you do have a home that has a garage, but I really hope y'all don't have a nosy friend that doesn't cross these boundaries, or a family member that does this. But someone needs to understand that you have to take care of yourself before you are taking care of anybody else. And this reading, I will say, you really do love people. You love and take care of others. And you deserve to have a little bit of you time. You deserve to give yourself your own sense of self-pleasing today. I really do believe that. You deserve it. And if you need you can honestly be like, if someone says, why can't I? You can use me as the reason why. You can say, because Mama Mystic said that I need to take care of myself. Stop texting me. Actually, she's the one that said that. Stop texting me because Mystic told me to tell you that. Maybe they'll stop messaging you because they're going to be like, what the hell is she talking about? But, if you need someone to really back you up here, I'll be that girl for you. But positive self-talk. Now let's talk about the consequences if you do not, try to take back control of this. You'll start to feel more burnt out. I know whenever in my early 20s, I cared a lot about taking care of others. And that was just because I did have a fear of rejection. I will say that. And I was always burnt out. I had a lot of resentment towards others. But I could never get myself to tell them, no, I don't want to. And this could even be talking about work, even where you feel the need to show up at work just because they call you, because you're scared that you won't be deemed a worthy leader or a worker, even if you don't show up when you're supposed to show up. But, you're going to develop that sense of unfulfillment. Things are just no longer going to click for you any longer. You're going to feel disconnected, and your doors are always just going to be open with no boundaries, and people are going to continue to take control of this. So phobias, one of the best ways is address what the phobia is, where it stemmed from, why you want to do something about it, and then how you plan on releasing it. How do you plan on doing it? And what is your action plan? What is the goal here for you to stay committed to this action? But really pay attention to what your body is telling you. Now, your crystal cards, because I'm going to run away from them if I don't. So we have rose quartz here. If you don't have rose quartz, please get you a little bit of rose quartz to remind you. It's good to have healthy reminders around. Rose quartz is love, nurture, romance. Calling in unconditional love, rose quartz invokes a gentle yet powerful feminine energy that nurtures and protects your heart. It can be used to attract new romance and to build closer bonds in your relationships. Rose quartz opens the heart chakra and heals heartache, grief, and any unexpressed emotion. It asks that you show yourself compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance. Rose quartz also inspires beauty in all forms. Open your heart to the beauty within you. And that could be another phobia. It's, opening up and showing all parts of yourself to another person. And if there is something you are ashamed of within you, let's let go of that today. Let's, I'm holding your hand right now. I don't know if you can, obviously you won't be able to feel it, but I'm holding you right now. Let go of any kind of shame you have. Let go of any kind of resentment that you may have about your own body, or any kind of regrets you may have had in past relationships. Let those go so that way you can actually open up and find a love that is very deserving of you, that does not make you feel as if you need to constantly bend and mold yourself to another person's needs or what you think that person wants. The Moonology card here is you and your loved ones are safe. I can definitely see that this would be somebody that is worried about the well-being of their family. And that is why, oh, okay, I just got this image. If you have someone in your life that tends to use those lines of I'm going to leave, or how do I say this, you're worried that they are actually going to do something where they won't be here any longer. Always provide warmth and support and a good listening ear. And if this is something that you find that they cycle through or they go through, work towards having open communication and seeing if there is anything that, maybe this person really does need a lot of help and support. And your guides are bringing you here to see that there's a door that is open for them, that they need help to be able to walk through and close for themselves. If you are someone that is very strong, and this whole reading may have not resonated for you specifically, but it sounded like someone you love and care about. There are so many tools that you can do to really help them figure out what is it that is going on in their life that is making them feel as if they don't belong here any longer, or that they're scared to step out of their house and be able to assist themselves. But sometimes when we go at it alone for so long in our life, we forget what it's like to actually have a compassionate and empathetic listener that can really help us work through our thoughts and help untangle all the knots that we have going on in our head. But you and your loved ones are safe. And they're safe because you are constantly working on your own endeavors and trying to stay committed to your goals. But your guides want you to have that healthy balance between this person that has they need a lot of extra support and care and love in this moment. They may not have had that until you came into their life. And one of the things you can do is helping them find the resources in order to do so. And even being that hand, or, sometimes people don't want to hear advice. Sometimes they just want to get something off their shoulders. So that if you find that you're constantly giving advice to others, take a step back and just let them, listen. And if they do want to know what they could do with their situation or dilemma, start it off with, well, first off, before I give you advice, what do you think would be best for you in this moment? Let them see if they can come up with a solution on their own. But ultimately, just be very gentle and caring to this person if you feel that. Over here with this other crystal, this is Sugilite. And Sugilite is originality, forgiveness, unconditional love. Sugilite helps anybody who has ever felt like they did not belong feel loved and supported. Vibrating violet rays of unconditional love, Sugilite brings lightworkers down to earth, opening them up to share their gifts while staying grounded on planet Earth. For overthinkers and worriers, Sugilite alleviates issues of the mind, allowing you to focus on what's truly important, living your truth. Sugilite facilitates forgiveness for those that have hurt you, including yourself. Open your heart to what's possible by letting go of all that no longer serves you. And I mean, this reading, I love this reading because it's very mindful. It makes me more mindful of my actions. It makes me more mindful of my readings, and, helps me stay committed to what it is I'm doing today because, I care a lot about, mental stress, mental disorders, and alleviating that for my collective. But a personal issue reaches a solution or a resolution. And I am so glad to hear that. So you and your loved ones are safe. The more that you are aware of what is unfolding around you or what door is open currently, an issue reaches a resolution. Things are finally being worked out for you today. And I love that. Now, before I leave, I'm going to kick it off with a tarot card. We have the Nine of Cups, and it was in reverse, but I wanted to leave it up because I really love the artwork. So what does the Nine of Cups talk about when we're upside down? Notice what is missing in your life today at this moment. And what gain have you been pursuing that lacks growth or fulfillment? Maybe you have been chasing something that is no longer fulfilling, and now you want to commit to something else more differently. Or maybe the goal itself needs to be redefined. Maybe look at the disclaimers of what this could be. And you may hear sirens going off. I live down the road that goes straight to the hospital. So notice any kind of sirens that may be going on in your life where you need to kind of like maybe hold back, put your foot on the brake for a little bit, and then you'll be able to go back again. And once you are fully committed and you've gotten a little bit of reprieve even, and reconsider what you have been wishing for. What is truly important to you in this moment? And who are you trying to impress? Are you trying to impress yourself? That's really who I would like you to impress. Impress yourself today. That is who you are competing against at the end of the day. And discover, when you start impressing yourself, other people naturally fall in line where they are looking at you in awe and they're trying to figure out, what are you doing? Things are different, we notice. And we see that, you're actually able to step out of your shell a little bit more. You're able to open up and define how you will know you are successful, whatever you're working so hard for. If you are spending a lot of hours at work, because originally the plan was, I'm going to do all of this work so that way I can afford a down payment for a home. I'm going to do all of this work so that way I can save up for a really nice car. And then once it got to the point where you've accomplished all that, you still continue to work so hard. You still continue to pick up extra hours. And everybody just thought that that was just who you were naturally. And in reality, it was you were just doing this for a specific goal you have. And once you have accomplished that goal and you can start, taking control of your own hours again, then you will feel a lot more fulfillment because you'll have more time to yourself, more time to your family and your friends, more time to your passions and your hobbies, and, actively pursue your dreams. If you have found that you've kind of like put things off to the side because you were so focused on making sure other people were fine, that other people were being able to go after their own dreams, you should put yourself first today. Whatever dream you've had, whether you want to be an artist, a singer, have your own tarot channel, I'm naming off random things, but whatever you have ever dreamed about having, start taking action to it, recommit to that dream, and figure out what you may be indulging in. Are you indulging in other people's needs at the expense of your own? And that is a common reoccurrence that is reoccurring through this dream, if I can speak correctly. But be aware of what you are consuming, what you are feeding your mind. But that is your reading, my dears. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off here. But if you enjoyed this reading, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know how it resonates.